Hey guys, how's it going? I haven't been here for a while. I sort of got away from social media for a bit and I'm trying to get back into it, so don't judge me for being absent. I know the algorithm doesn't like it too, but I don't like the algorithm. So, what we're going to discuss about this video today, we're going to talk about send and returns and how I sort of use them and how most sound engineers use them. So, the basic concept of send and returns is sort of you send a sound, you get it back with painted. So we have a wet signal to it. Let's say we can use saturation, delay, reverb, whatever you want to extend, but also keep the dry signal so it flows on both ways. Let's say I'm sending the signal. It's going to get split. I hope you guys can see it. I'm sending a signal here. It's going to get split into two sections. So one of them is going to be the dry signal path. And then I'm going to have the wet signal path with what I choose to be. And it all comes up to the master, comes out to my headphones. So that's why it's called send and return. It's sort of like ping pong into an empty wall. Just with audio, not ping pong balls. So before we do that, I'm going to show you guys how I do send and returns. I sort of treat them as rooms. You will find me a lot making rooms instead of what is the basic principle of send and return, which will be your small delay, medium delay, long delay, small reverb, medium reverb, long reverb, automation is lane, and whatever you want to do, wacky stuff kind of like that. You have 12 return tracks in Ableton, which is more than enough to do almost anything you want. And if you really need to, you can always draw an effect to 50%. But it won't give you as much as control for the future if you want to modulate that signal separately. I'll give you an example of what I mean. So we'll go into the drum room. I have my EQ after my reverb. So I'm going to go and find my drums over here. And this has been sent through my send to reverb, which will send A. And so this is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on. You get 12 max. So you get to your drum room, and this is how the drum sounds with my reverb into my send with the EQ. So this is the mix signal. And that's just the return. Cool. And that's how it sounds. There's also a snare slap, which is just like a long kind of 80s snare here, just to give it a bit more presence. It's very common in the 80s, not so much nowadays, but I give it a bit of a modern touch. I like doing that. There is no right and wrong in music. Feel free to experiment and do whatever you want, as long as it sounds nice. It sounds nice to your ears. Don't listen to other people's ears. All right. So back into it. Your drummer, I'm going to cancel my 2 returns. Sounds good as it is. All it does, I'm trying to give it a bit more width. All right. I'm giving it a bit more width just to give it a bit more presence and a bit more depth into it. Another thing that we can do as well, we have our guitars, an acoustic guitar sent. You can hear a lot of resonance going on, but all of these frequencies are sort of cancelled because I used a mid-side EQ, and I cut a big chunk of the middle section just to allow all my instruments to come up. Our midsection, which will be a little bit of a snare, a bit of a kick, vocals, our bass. Sometimes that bass got a little bit of a nose over here. I'll tell you guys why I use my returns as rooms and not as short, medium delay, to reverb and delay separately. Always EQ your returns always when you do it. I was really heavily inspired when I first started making sound and touching and learning about it. I was very inspired of the way they used to record in the 50s, where they would put a PA speaker in front of a monitor in a separate room, and they would actually record the room. Let's say they would put a PA speaker inside a bathroom, and they would record the bathroom. That'll give it that reverb room. Um, I sort of liked the idea that everything is sort of split for me. Let's say I got all the guitars. I'm gonna put my guitars in this room for that sound because I've sort of remembered how throughout my workflow I sort of know what rooms I'm gonna create. So it helps me visualize where do I send my tracks into at the same time. If that makes any sense. Um, I hope you guys got a bit of an insight from today's video, and happy to be back and yeah, and go and have a blast with music. Thanks guys for tuning in.